everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, I mean, just like we'd rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you had the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, or the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting?
Tom Brady just lit up the NFL with one wild accusation. He basically said the Cleveland Browns sabotaged Shedeur Sanders' career. Can you believe that? The GOAT himself hinting that one of the most hyped young quarterbacks in the league was set up to fail.
The local Cleveland media keep going relentless on Shedeur Sanders. He entitled, distracted, developing slow, can't learn the playbook, not getting practice reps with the scout team, not getting practice reps at all. But what if I told you? Then none of that got to do nothing with football. This goes deeper than people realize. If y'all ain't seen the Tom Brady came out on Colin Cowherd, now this is pertaining to the Browns saying they developing quarterback.
In a new interview, Brady didn't hold back. He claimed that some teams aren't just bad at developing quarterbacks, they're destroying them on purpose. And the moment he said it, every fan instantly thought of Cleveland. Because if he's right, that means Shedeur never even had a real shot. He was tossed into chaos, blamed for every loss, and left to sink while the franchise protected its own image. Now everyone's asking the same burning question. Did the Browns wreck their own future and hope nobody noticed?
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2 minutes?
It all started so normal. Just another calm chat on the herd with Colin Cowherd. Brady was supposed to be talking about quarterback development. Simple stuff, no drama expected. But out of nowhere, he dropped the sentence that blew up the internet. There's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback. That one line hit like a bomb. Within minutes, fans were connecting the dots. Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders, the rookie everyone says is struggling to adjust. Brady didn't drop names, but he didn't have to. He talked about coaches ranked dead last in development, about young QBs getting no real guidance, and about teams that pretend to build talent while secretly tearing it down from the inside.
But I'm going to answer this. I don't say that.
To casual fans, Tom Brady's words sounded like a general rant about the league. But for anyone watching the Browns closely, it felt personal, because everything he said matched what's been going down in Cleveland. Messy coaching, mixed messages, and a young quarterback treated like a problem instead of a project. The internet went crazy. Clips of Brady's comments flooded timelines within minutes. Analysts were editing side-by-side footage of Shedeur Sanders sitting on the sideline during drills, matching it with Brady's quote, like a smoking gun. And by sunset, Brady exposes the Browns was trending across N.F.L. Twitter. This wasn't just a hot take, it was a straight-up warning shot. Brady said what players have been whispering for years behind closed doors. According to him, the NFL doesn't have a player development problem. It's got a coaching crisis. And Cleveland? They've turned quarterback drama into a yearly event. New coaches, new systems, new promises, same old mess. It's like they smash the reset button every offseason and try to sell fans the same broken dream. Behind the curtain, insiders say it's even uglier.
Why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? You got nothing to do with the game. Okay, it's all for media clicks. And he's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. And it's a big week for Dylan Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. I mean, making that transition for him even be available to the press. I don't know why he's doing it.
I mean, you tell me. You know how that works. Is that the front office? Is that the comms team? Like, who's putting him out? So we're saying it's not really on him. We have to protect him. He's a young player.
Yep.
Why are we making him available?
Exactly. To me, I mean, there's no sense to have him available.
Players talk about confusion in meetings, playbooks changing every week, and a total lack of direction. One coach says, "We're building." Another says, "We're evaluating." Translation, nobody's steering the ship. And guess who's stuck paying for all the chaos? Shedeur Sanders. Then came the jaw dropper. Team owner Jimmy Haslam openly admitted he didn't even know Shedeur had been signed. Let that sink in. How does the owner of an N.F.L. franchise not know his team just drafted one of the most talked about quarterbacks in the country? Madness. The man running the whole franchise didn't even know who his own rookie quarterback was. That's not just sloppy, that's straight up negligence. The Browns keep preaching about developing the next great quarterback. But how can you develop someone when the people in charge don't even realize what's going on inside their own building? This isn't a rebuild. It's pure chaos with a headset on. And now, thanks to Tom Brady, that chaos is finally being exposed under a national spotlight. Here's where talk turns into truth. When you really look at how Cleveland's handled Shedeur Sanders, it starts to look less like mismanagement and more like a setup. The kid barely gets first-team reps, gets tossed into drills with third stringers, and then, boom, suddenly he's thrown into live action and told to prove himself. No rhythm, no chemistry, no real prep. That's not development. That's sabotage dressed up as opportunity. Even the analysts who usually defend the team called it out. One said, "You don't build a quarterback by isolating him from the starters, then blame him when things fall apart." Exactly. Meanwhile, the media keeps twisting the story, saying Shedeur's not ready, that he's distracted, or struggling to adapt. But come on, how can anyone thrive when the whole system around them is collapsing? It's like asking someone to fly a jet after you've ripped off the wings. Brady spotted it instantly. He recognized that same dysfunction he dodged early in his own career. The difference? Brady had real coaches, people who believed in structure, in discipline, in letting a quarterback grow. Shedeur, he's surrounded by suits and sideline talkers who love to say they're developing talent but don't back it up with real work. And that's why Brady's words hit so deep. He wasn't just throwing shade at the league. He was describing this exact mess in Cleveland. The second his comments went live, the sports world exploded. Clips flying everywhere, hashtags catching fire, and by the end of the night, hashtag Brown Sabotage was trending across N.F.L. Twitter. The truth was out, and it was ugly. Cleveland's local media tried to play defense, but man, it backfired hard. Instead of addressing what Brady actually said, they went straight after Shedeur Sanders, labeling him entitled, unfocused, and not ready for the pros. Classic misdirection. Blame the player, protect the system. But this time, fans weren't falling for it. Every clip, every side comment, every weird quote from inside the Browns camp started to look shady. People began connecting dots. Why was Shedeur kept out of first-team reps? Why was he suddenly doing random interviews when the team swore he wasn't part of their plans? And why did the owner sound like he barely even knew the kid existed? None of it made sense, unless you believed Brady. Then Stephen A. Smith stepped in. And that's when things went nuclear. He didn't just side with Brady, he called it entrapment. He flat out said the Browns didn't give Shedeur a fair chance to succeed. They set him up to fail. And when Louis Riddick, one of ESPN's most respected voices, came in with hard data, breaking down reps, playtime, and the coaching rotation, everything changed. The story wasn't rumor anymore. It was proof. For the first time, fans weren't seeing the Browns as a cursed or unlucky team. They were seeing them as responsible, the architects of their own downfall. Because let's be real, when a franchise keeps developing quarterbacks who never develop, maybe the issue isn't the players. Maybe it's the people in charge. And that's exactly the truth Brady wanted the world to face. No one in the NFL likes to admit it, but players get ranked, graded, and cut right out in the open, while coaches mess up in private and walk away clean. The double standard runs deep, and for once, someone with Brady's weight just called it out loud. They get excuses. That's what Brady was calling out so perfectly. He said everyone loves ranking quarterbacks from 1 to 32, but what if your coach is ranked 32? That line hit the NFL like a sledgehammer because he's absolutely right. Development isn't some kind of magic trick. It's structure, repetition, and real coaching. And if your offensive coordinator or quarterback coach has no clue what they're doing, your career can disappear before it even begins. Here's the wild part. Nobody ever holds them accountable. When a quarterback misses a read, it's headline news. When a coach calls the wrong scheme, it's brushed off as part of the process. That's the double standard Brady just exposed. And it's exactly what's been happening in Cleveland for years. The Browns have been spinning through offensive coordinators like a broken carousel. New faces, same failures, and every single season, another quarterback gets thrown under the bus. The pattern never changes because the accountability never climbs up the ladder. The blame always stops at the player, never the clipboard. Brady's message was brutal but simple. You can't expect elite results from average coaching. You can't judge a quarterback who was never actually taught, and that's why Shedeur Sanders' situation stings so bad. This isn't about his talent. It's about a system built to fail him while pretending it's helping. Then came the quote that turned a bad look into a full-blown scandal. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam straight up admitted he didn't even know about Shedeur Sanders signing. Not forgot, not misspoke. He literally said the decision wasn't his, that the coaching staff handled it. Let that sink in. The owner of an N.F.L. franchise, a man with millions invested in quarterbacks, had no clue his team just brought in one of the most talked about prospects in the country. That's not leadership. That's chaos in a suit. And suddenly, Brady's whole point made perfect sense. If the person running the organization doesn't even know what's happening under their roof, how can anyone expect the staff below to develop a quarterback properly? It's not just dysfunction. It's the blueprint for failure. It's like running a company where the CEO doesn't even know who just got hired. Total madness. The Browns tried to clean it up with the usual PR talk about trusting the process and shared responsibility, but come on, the timing couldn't have been worse. Coming right after Brady's bombshell comments, it didn't sound like confidence. It sounded like a cover-up, and fans caught on fast. Haslam's quote stopped being a simple slip-up and instantly became proof that nobody in Cleveland is actually steering the ship. Brady didn't just call out a bad football team. He exposed a broken hierarchy. Because at this point, it's not just about one quarterback. It's about an entire franchise pretending to have a plan, when the truth is, they've been winging it the whole time. Once Brady spoke, it was game over. The court of public opinion opened up, and Cleveland was suddenly on trial. Twitter, Reddit, ESPN, everyone turned into investigators overnight. Fans started breaking down practice clips frame by frame, dissecting sidelined body language like it was evidence from a crime scene. Every little thing the Browns did suddenly looked suspicious. People noticed Shedeur Sanders rarely taking first-team reps. Analysts questioned why a supposed third-string quarterback was being pushed into interviews after losses. And everyone kept asking, why does nothing add up? None of it made sense unless you believed Brady's theory, and that's when the whole narrative flipped. Before, the talk was, Shedeur's not ready, but now it became, are the Browns setting him up? The internet connected the dots faster than the team could release statements. Conspiracy threads started trending, and fans weren't the only ones reacting. Even players from other teams were liking posts calling out the Browns for fake development. And just like that, this wasn't a small Cleveland drama anymore. It turned into a full-blown national headline. Because let's be real, when the GOAT calls something out, fans are going to start sniffing around. And the more they dug, the uglier it looked. Shedeur wasn't just underperforming. He was isolated, cut off from top reps, given zero consistency, and then blamed when everything fell apart. In the social media era, that's all it takes. One clip, one quote, and suddenly, a rookie's tough start turns into a public trial. But this time, it wasn't the player getting judged. It was the franchise. And here's what makes it all sting even more. Tom Brady was once Shedeur Sanders, a late-round pick, overlooked, doubted, and barely given reps. He sat quietly, studied the game, and waited for his shot while the football world acted like he didn't exist. The only difference? Brady had coaches who actually believed in development. Bill Belichick and Dick Rabine didn't just evaluate Brady, they built him. They gave him structure, patience, and accountability. And when Brady's QB coach tragically passed away during camp, Belichick personally stepped in to fill the role himself. That's how seriously they took the idea of developing a quarterback. Now look at Cleveland. Shedeur's in the exact same position Brady once was, except his coaches seem more focused on politics than progress. There's no mentorship, no leadership, no clear direction, just empty buzzwords like competition and evaluation. It's all talk, no guidance. That's the cruel irony Brady sees. He knows exactly how fragile a quarterback's early years can be and how fast potential can die when nobody truly cares to nurture it. If Brady hadn't been properly developed, maybe the world would have never seen the GOAT. That's why he's speaking out, not just to defend one rookie, but to defend the entire next generation of quarterbacks. Because deep down, Brady remembers what it felt like to be underestimated, to have your talent questioned before it ever gets a chance to shine. And he knows how easily a franchise can bury a career before it even begins. Brady's words may have been aimed squarely at Cleveland, but the echo went far beyond Ohio. What he exposed isn't just a Browns issue, it's an N.F.L. epidemic. Every single year, the league drafts new quarterbacks full of raw potential, and every single year, half of them vanish before they ever stand a real chance. Why? Because the system's broken. Teams love to preach development, but behind closed doors, it's total chaos. New playbooks every season, ego-driven coaches chasing job security instead of growth, and zero patience to let young talent mature. Brady just said out loud what players have been whispering in locker rooms for years. Coaching is the league's biggest blind spot. Quarterbacks get benched after one bad drive, while coaches survive years of mediocrity. It's a cycle built on excuses instead of accountability, and it's chewing up talent faster than the game can replace it. And Shedeur Sanders might just be the latest victim of that broken cycle. He walked into a franchise that sells growth but delivers confusion. When things fall apart, they never blame the plan. They blame the player. That's why Tom Brady's message hit so deep. He wasn't ranting. He was sounding the alarm. If the NFL keeps protecting coaches instead of developing players, it's going to keep losing its future stars before they even get started. Maybe it's time to stop rebuilding quarterbacks and start rebuilding coaches. Because in a league obsessed with raw talent, the real issue isn't who's under center, it's who's holding the clipboard. So now, the question isn't if Tom Brady was right, it's how long can the NFL ignore him? When the greatest quarterback of all time stands up and says the system is broken, you don't shrug that off. You listen. Cleveland can spin, deny, and deflect all they want, but the damage is already done. The entire league just got a front row seat to see how fragile player development really is, and how fast it turns into sabotage when the people in charge stop being accountable. Shedeur Sanders didn't ask for controversy. He just wanted a fair shot. And maybe that's what Brady's trying to give him. Not through coaching, but through truth. Because when a legend exposes the system, he's not just protecting one player, he's warning everyone still trapped inside it. So here's the real question. If the GOAT can spot sabotage from the outside, how many young quarterbacks are being set up from within? And how many more will we lose before the league finally wakes up? If you've been following this whole storm and want every update as it unfolds, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Brady's right about the system being broken, or is Cleveland just getting exposed? Either way, this story's far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next. See you on the next one.